Thank you. Next, going to turn to Representative Landry for introduction of our final witness.
Thank you, Chairman Graves and Ranking Member Velazquez. I would like to introduce Mr. Bob Kottler to you all. Although he's based up here in D.C., Mr. Kottler is a Tulane grad. I think Mr. Richmond, Cedric's not here, is our other. We have a Tulane grad on the committee, actually. A former executive at Louisiana's own Hibernia Bank and is currently the executive vice president near my hometown at Iberia Bank in Lafayette, Louisiana. And this may make him a certified Cajun. He may be able to understand me if any of y'all have problems. Mr. Kottler has capitalized on his banking and finance expertise and has devoted much of his career to working on what makes small businesses work. In his current role at Iberia Bank, Mr. Kottler is responsible for the retail segment, including retail operations, credit cards, sales, retail training, and small business. Before joining Iberia Bank, he was the executive vice president for small business banking at Capital One, covering Texas, Louisiana, Maryland, Virginia, D.C., New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. I don't know how you connect Texas and Louisiana to the East Coast, but his team worked in tandem with Capital One's National Small Business Credit Card team. Mr. Kottler also headed Capital One's branch real estate division in the Texas area and served as Hibernia's chief sales support officer before Hibernia and Capital One's merger. Mr. Kottler started his involvement with the Consumer Bankers Association in 1995 as a member of CBA's Small Business Committee. He has been extremely active over the last 16 years in his roles such as chair of the membership committee and member of the board of directors for 10 years. In total, Mr. Kottler has nearly 20 years of practical experience in providing small business access to capital and credit. Mr. Kottler, thank you for your service to our communities in Louisiana and throughout the other states, and I'm proud to have you testify before us all today.
Thanks, Mr. Kottler. I think Mr. Landry used up all your time.
I think so. I was going to say that was a hard one to follow.
I yield.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, Chairman Graves and Ranking Member Velazquez and members of the committee. I'm excited to be here today. As Congressman Landry said, I'm Bob Kottler, and I'm responsible for retail and small business banking at Iberia Bank, and also a member of the Consumer Bankers Association Board of Directors. CBA has been the recognized voice of retail banking, including small business lending, for the nation's capital for 90 years. In my positions at Iberia and CBA and 21 years of experience in small business lending, I understand the challenges we face, and especially getting through the current economic environment. Over the past few years, high unemployment has resulted in less consumer spending, and consumer spending is critical to boost sales of small businesses and make them healthy. The decline in sales and the weak economic conditions have led to weaker than normal and inconsistent demand for small business loans. In fact, a recent NFIB study found that poor sales and uncertainty continue to be greater problems for small business owners than access to credit. In addition to the decline in sales, another factor that's diminished the demand for lending is value of home equity. And as many of you know, home equity is traditionally a strong form of collateral that many business owners use to secure their business loans. A December study by the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland found the decline in home values has constrained the ability of small business owners to obtain the credit they need to finance their business. It's also important to understand how the decline in sales and home values has affected small business lending. When banks underwrite loans, we look at two things: cash flow, both historical and projected, as well as the collateral securing the loan. And the decline in these two criteria over the economic cycle have been significant factors behind the reduction in lending and make it clear why lending has been so difficult. But we do see it improving. CBA members report increases in demand for small business loans. In addition, the Commerce Department announced an increase in consumer spending for the 10th straight month, which we think is a positive sign that we are turning the corner. So what is CBA doing to improve lending? Many banks have instituted aggressive second look programs where the banks will take a look at a loan that might have been declined and see if there is a way to approve it, and are looking to find ways to make more quality loans through that process. A number of banks have also announced new lending programs and commitments to small business, and many CBA members have established enhanced training and incentives through the branches, which is often the primary place our customers come to ask for loans, and also specifically improving use of SBA programs. CBA supported and will continue to support the efforts of the committee and Congress to expand small business lending and economic development. We believe SBA program improvements, including 7A, 504, and Express, are important, and also the Small Business Lending Fund and other enhancements. And all of those things are taking us in the right direction to make more loans. This spring, CBA joined with the International Finance Association to sponsor a small business lending summit here in Washington, D.C. And through that summit and the dialogue that we've had with IFA, we've looked for ways to improve lending. As a result, CBA's Small Business Committee is now working to develop a template that franchises can use to prepare their potential franchisees to secure the financing they need. This template will provide the bank information about the franchise and hopefully will help us successfully underwrite the loan. One final point I wanted to stress is the importance of communications between borrowers and lenders, even before a request is made. The better prepared and knowledgeable a borrower is about the process, and the more that a lender knows about the borrower, the more successful the outcome. Small businesses and lenders alike need to work harder to bridge that divide and better understand one another, and that's one of the things that we've been working on with the IFA. In closing, we're just starting to see signs of growth in our economy, but we think we have a ways to go. Any successful small business needs to have sufficient demands and goods in order to have strong cash flows to prosper. And we think as the unemployment rate falls, demand will increase, which will continue to improve small business lending and small business growth. And CBA looks forward to working with this committee and small businesses to strengthen our nation's economy. So thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I'll be available for questions. Thank you.